位姐妹们早安！本场次论坛2即将开始，请各位姐妹们尽速就座，并将您的手机关机或转成静音模式，谢谢。We welcome every sisters to move forward to the front seat. Thank you. 各位姐妹们，我们现场空位很充足，那请各位姐妹们尽量往前移动，往前面这几排的椅子来就坐，谢谢。Hello。
Testing, testing.
Hello? Hi. Hello?
Testing, testing.
Good morning, every BPW International sisters. Panel 2 is about to begin. For the quality of the panel, please turn off your mobile phone or switch it to mute mode. Thank you. 本场次进行议题2，论坛即将开始。开始之前，为维持论坛品质，提醒各位姐妹们将您的手机关机或转为静音模式。Panel 2: Transformational Leadership in Economy: The Challenge for Young Leaders. 议题2：经济的转型领导，女性领导的挑战。The moderator of this panel 2 is Adjunct Professor Jennifer. 本场次的主持人是中原大学商学院企管学系兼任客座副教授张雅琪博士。主持人同时也有一个特别的身份，是桃园市市长张善政市长的夫人。我们非常荣幸，昨天的活动有张善政市长的支持，今天的活动有市长夫人的支持，让本次的活动更添光彩。And we have 3 panelists. Founder of Wenjo, Patty Tsai. 我们还有一位语坛人，文酒之星创办人蔡依珊女士。Young BPW member of NAPO, Avispa Prasai. 尼泊尔 BPW 青年会员 Avispa Prasai. At the meantime, we have a panelist entering this panel with us from online. You can see the screen. Yeah, she is entering this panel with us from Teams through the video call. 我们还有一位讲者呢，他是透过这个线上的 Teams 视讯连线的方式来参加这一次的会议。Now, I would like to hand it over to the moderator to start this panel 2. 现在，请大家掌声欢迎，我们将时间交给主持人。
Hi, good morning, my dear sisters, and also one brother. Good morning. I'm the moderator of this session, and I'm teaching at the Department of Business Administration at Zhongyuan University. I'm an associate professor right now, and I'm very glad to participate in this international forum. And this is the very first time I participated in this business professional women in Taiwan. And I would like to invite our first panelist. Her speech will be entitled as The Importance of Architecture and Environment. She's from New Zealand. She's an architect. Her name is Carolyn Savage. As you mentioned, as our leader mentioned, she is an Asia Pacific Sub-Regional Coordinator from New Zealand, and she's in charge of the region of Oceania from 2017 to 24. She's a registered architect. She earned many merits, such as Green Star, Accredited Professional MSDG, and also some awards, such as March or BARS, and NCCD. She would like to propose that city can create the perfect environment for sustainable development of the infrastructure, the services, utilities, work, and entertainment facilities. For example, pictures, a theater or restaurant, or even office complexes, shopping, retail, and waste management. It is a requirement for all stakeholders, consultants, architects, engineers, and planners, and community sectors, and those who live in these neighborhoods all get to work together to achieve sustainable architecture with buildings that will have low carbon footprint, and their operation provides power supply to their neighbors due to their green building principles. Now, may we have the honor of inviting our first panelist, architect Carolyn Savage. Please give her a very, very big hand. Caroline, are you ready? Yeah, now she's in New Zealand, and she will deliver her speech through Teams. Okay, yeah, I think she's waiting online. So is it possible that we just enlarge the screen? Let our audience can view her face. Yeah, okay, now it's ready. Carolyn, can you hear our voice? Can you hear my voice? Yes. Hi, good morning. Sorry, good morning.
Are you ready?
Yes. Yeah, please. Deliver your speech. We are ready to listen to your outstanding speech.
A little bit of echoing, but I could hear. I can't see anyone actually. No. Can everyone see my screen? There it is. Can you see my screen? Tēnā koutou katoa. Carolyn Savage, and it's a pleasure to be with you. I wish I was there in person. So today I'm going to take you through architecture and the environment and the interconnections with the Sustainable Development Goals. So understanding the environment and applying basic principles of sustainable design, Sustainable Development Goals, introduction review of what, where and why. Architecture is and the SDGs. What is missing? SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, and SDG 12, Responsible Consumption. Can the construction sector influence change by implementing the SDGs and the conclusions? So, architecture, the environment, and sustainable principles. Understanding the environment, it is important to understand the environment you're working in, but people's perception of their environment when designing for a particular area. When designing for an end user or a tenant, then you have additional responsibilities to ensure their voice is heard or their needs are understood from the beginning. Environmental consideration, the snow, new north orientation. And accessibility, infrastructures, resources, cultural and health impacts. So principles of environmental architecture. It is important to present a simple perspective of how passive design principles will provide outcomes that are needed. Simple, dynamic of heat and loss and the importance of orientation. Thermal performance is in the sun, maximizing summer and winter environment, maximum passive pain. In addition to these basic principles, each of the following examples all have water collection, wastewater treatment, solar hot water and or power, and design heat pump hot water system connected with gas as a backup. So creating sustainable homes and removing barriers. For a small scale, some sustainable examples. The brief from each client was at the design for accessibility for the future, on-site wastewater treatment, rainwater collection, solar power and or solar hot water, combination of external heat pumps, gas, solar hot water. Not have technology to be a barrier to the house performance and for the end user, and use sustainable and environmental materials and low VOC paint. So I'm showing you a couple of houses through this. This was a 196 square metre environmental house. The brief client said, I want it warm in winter, cool in summer, and it's going to be my retirement home. Then the most significant challenge with the construction of this house was stopping the contractor trying to rotate the house by 90 degrees to make it cheaper to construct. The design principles of full north facing would have been compromised. The existing tree would have overshadowed the roof lights and solar panels during the winter. One of the things is the family loved the house so much, her older daughter and son-in-law bought the house off her and extended the flat to keep. So, home and unique holiday retreat in the Marlborough Sounds. It was 148 square metres. It was designed for people from the Netherlands, and the condition was home is warm, light, and creates a sense of space for a one-bedroom home with office, which could be converted into a bedroom, and private sauna. Wide cantilever eaves help screen the home in summer and direct the light deeper into the living areas during the winter. Passive ventilation is utilised across the room from the windows above the doors to high windows on the opposite roofline. High thermal insulation from a timber pile buried to a subfloor into construction. Wood fire, which could be used as an alternative cooking source should the backup system fail. And in addition, they had a little cottage which was built to create an environmentally sensitive dwelling on the site with the same principles offered to the main house. The orientation, the cantilevered eaves, the high insulation rates with double glazed windows, doors, ensured the building was warm in winter and cool in summer with no air conditioning and a wood-fired 2-watt heater. Location, environment and sustainability. The solar panels on the roof face northeast. They provide all the heating and power for the underfloor heating, the swimming pool 24 year round, and the storage bank can provide 2 to 3 days if the national grid shuts down. 5 years on, this house has done exactly what the client wanted. She said, there is nothing I would change. It keeps me warm in winter, cool in summer, a house for all seasons, and guests always go, wow. So, social responsibilities for future design. Urban development can successfully apply the same principles to an individual home. Orientation to maximise north and east secondary solar gain through winter and summer. In the southern hemisphere, just keep this over, solar panels, water and power, combined heat pumps, solar hot water systems, underground rainwater, and underfloor heating for overall low cost and comfort zones can be set and isolated to prevent inadvertent adjustments, and higher than minimum standards for insulation and low glazing, and using natural ventilation to create passive airflows. So, communities creating platforms for change. This is the Drake Landing Solar Community. It was the first solar powered community located in the town of Okotos, Alberta, Canada. 800 solar panels located throughout the community on garage roofs produced 1.5 megawatts of thermal power during the summer day and supply heat to the district heating system. The whole system met 90% of the annual heating and hot water needs for the engaging with leading stakeholders. For this sort of to be successful, here a large development master, it's important to understand all the relevant stakeholders that would be affected. To create a large social housing development, for example, has a number of parties that would require direct engagement at one level or another. If communication is not clear, or engaging across parties will not be successful. And it needs to understand what goes in the Crown entities, councils, transportation, Three Waters, community boards, wider community stakeholders, schools, service providers, and existing residents. Now, Sustainable Development Goals. Why, what, and where? So, a number of you will know the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is 169 targets, 231 indicators with 248 in total, 13 repeat across under 12 different targets. SDGs and their respective targets and indicators are interconnected across multiple goals, providing stronger integration across the SDGs. So now I'm going to provide an overview. Is the Asia Pacific region on target to achieve the 2030 agenda? No. SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, and SDG 13, climate action, is going backwards. Sustainable cities are only just moving forward. Asia Pacific SDG Progress Report 2022 illustrated greater disparities amid COVID-19. COVID-19 pandemic and climate change has impacted on the Asia Pacific region, where it will achieve none of the 17 SDGs. Urgent need for regional collaboration and partnerships required. Gender equality is slow, with some improvements reported with women's representation both in national parliaments and managerial positions. The energy sector, women only hold 24% of all managerial roles and only 5% of all technical positions. Renewable energy sector, women's participation only between 32 to 35% of the workforce, and higher representation in administrative roles than managerial positions. So now I'm going to give you an insight to the SDG ranking scores that were done at the end of last year. Firstly, let's look at a comparison between Finland, Australia and New Zealand. Finland is ranked first in the world with an overall score of 86.51%. New Zealand is 26th, and this will come, you'll see something coming up later, and Australia 38th. So what are the conditions, what are the issues? Well, Finland, the reason why they're so successful is they've put sectorial action plans to deal with SDG strategy. They've got it in their national budget. They have monitoring, and it says New Zealand does too under the report. They have a designated lead unit around sustainability. And you'll see that the high SDG commitments between 65 to 80%, Finland sits there. Low SDG commitment, New Zealand and Australia, 40 to 50%. And very low SDG commitment, 0 to 40, Russia and the United States. So now you can see what the dashboards look like and where they're going, performance by the SDGs. So the thing that we're going to be focusing on is sustainable cities and responsible consumption and production. So New Zealand, it's got some still challenges remain, and they're working on it, but are under the SDG 12, we're still going backwards. Australia, SDG 11, again, sustainable cities and communities, work is required. And SDG 12, no success to date. Now, one thing you have to understand with the SDGs, when you make a product, if you purchase a product, what is the spillover effect to other countries? So if you were shipping something out, has the production of your product been sustainable? So if you look across Australia and New Zealand, they have a spillover score of 67.17 and rank 135 in New Zealand, and Australia is 64.94 and they rank 141%. So their impact on environmental and social impacts embodied in trade, economy and finance, environmental and social impacts embodied into trade, and economy and finance. Japan, SDG dashboard and trends, you're sitting at number 19 and your score is 79.6%. Korea, your score is 20, you're sitting at 27 out of 163. Your index score is 77.9%. Again, every one of these SDG cities and production, although I'd like to note that for Korea, they've actually gone orange for their SD 12. And Papua New Guinea, their index score was 53.6%. They're sitting at 144 out of 163 countries. And the only thing that's different out of Papua New Guinea is they use locally sourced materials to help through their responsible construction. So architecture and SDGs, back to how they're interconnected. The SDGs are around people, environment, and having the lowest impact on future. So when it comes to a design, an architect is looking at the materials from day one. They've got the brief, they know what the client's looking for, where they source those materials. So it's definitely not viable to import marble for a school. And I can tell you that did happen. Think of the cost, the transportation, and what happened from source through to the gate. So that's where you have the biggest impact. Then the contractor takes those projects forward. So SDGs implemented in design, they have to be 6, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, SDG 7, and SDG 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. And I'm going to be talking about a city that's using those. So architecture, design, and SDGs. Identifying the practices of SDG goals, targets and indicators to lead. Standardized sustainable specifications and material selections. Sustainable design principles engaging all stakeholders. Green building developments as the norm. Identifying company objectives, locally sourced materials, life cycle analysis, circular economy, upskilling, technology, effective and minimised waste management, and a new one that's been starting to be really looked at in New Zealand is modern slavery. So what is missing? How to align green building with the different SDGs to illustrate design principles that meet the specific targets and indicators to achieve outcomes for change. Implementing design dashboards that can be provided actual, measurable and reporting outcomes. SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, all being missed across our region. SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, only Papua New Guinea on target. So building on the Sustainable Development Goals is a requirement now to meet the 2030 agenda deadlines. Quality of life, protection of resources, and ensuring the minimum impact of others, both by our actions within New Zealand and by materials imported. Below is an indication of 14 SDGs relevant to the design and construction sector and specific SDGs imported that can be applied through design practices and construction. So what SDGs are relevant to construction? This illustrative map was developed to identify what SDGs had dependence on operation in the construction and real estate industry. too. Thank you. So this shows where construction and real estate, so it comes back to property, where the SDGs can have their biggest impact. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. So goal 11, targets that require design engagement with all stakeholders. So I won't read each one of them out. I've given my PowerPoint presentation to the team, but you'll see one of the important ones, 11.B, by 2020, now we're in 2023, sustainability increases the number of cities and human settlements adopting and implementing integrated policies and plans towards inclusion. Importance of sustainable cities, quality of life, infrastructure, and energy, new current building. Safe and accessible, access to clean water and sanitation, access to education, green space, renewable energy. So the World Green Building Council has identified that sustainable cities and the SDGs can align with what they are working on and what the green building outcomes are. So what I'm showing is that they've seen SDG 3, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 15, and 17 all have an impact to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals through green building. How green offices can provide the foundations. They enhance people's health and well-being. Building green offices creates jobs and boosts the green offices are a key part of sustainable cities and the mission to combat climate change. Green offices and health. They're building green. Three plans for future cities. I'm going to show you that a zero, as such, it is the objective is to transform the systems of production, significantly reducing natural resource restriction with forms of pollution and through the circular. Resilient. So about efforts to protect wildlife habits on the edge of the city. Promote the use of transport. City. Host of communities. To involve citizens, urban natural spaces, and biodiversity in the institutional government decision processes. We're now showing 10 sustainable smart cities, which were published in September by Marcus Law. These have been recognised as sustainable and smart. So I'm going to take you through two. I've reproduced the information from the documents they issued. So, Sydney sits at number 8. It's a Sydney Smart Strategy with the city appreciating a resilient place. And technology, digital platforms create collaboration with all their partners. In July 2020 began 100% renewable power to satisfy its demands. Singapore is the leader for its sustainable finding master plan, which existing buildings will be upgraded, and then they've got when they do anything new, they will be super low energy buildings. So at the end of 2020, 43% of their existing buildings had been assessed as green, and by the end of 2021, 49%. Cheong, I hope I got that right, Republic of Korea. Now I'm going to tell you why this city. It's an eco-friendly city of the future. It has established their Green New Deal projects. Every public institution launched recycling expansion and waste reduction campaigns at the beginning of 2021. Everyone's come together on this. Disposable products are no longer used in the city. All waste is collected through it carries trash to a central system where it is burned for energy or recycled. 40% of it are reserved for green space, including the 14 hectares park. And an investment in their infrastructure, this is where cities fail. This is where government your city in the infrastructure. So theirs was across water network, waste collection system. There are no garbage trucks or bins on the streets. Energy network and development of their public transportation, including 120 public rental bikes. 5 and 12, fuel consumption. Why do we talk about green can influence design? And one of the things is also working with local Indigenous players, Foxy, New Zealand, and for you to understand right or included overall physics on the lot of people that are living there, the way water's been used, is the way the landscape has been changed, the demolition of materials, moving the trees, have an impact on the natural habitat. The cradle to cradle cycle for structure shows the first process, which then can be recycled. Construction sector influence change by implementing SDGs. You cannot work with architecture design if we don't take the construction industry along. Principles, the general practice items include human sustainability, education, economic growth, social development, equity, climate awareness, and how they do their waste management. In respect to the SDGs and sustainability, for it to be effectively implemented and achieve far-reaching outcomes, it requires leadership and implementation into the daily activities and performance with measurable outcomes. The SDGs can provide comprehensive reporting for the International Organization Standardization System. So SDGs will human sustainability, health and safety and well-being, education, economic growth, social equity, climate awareness, responsible construction methods, waste management, community engagement, corporate social responsibilities. Example, 3 pillars of sustainable, social, economic and environmental development. So contractors leading change. The construction sector has an opportunity to affect change through the product selection phase in an early contractor involvement or a designer build. In traditional construction engagement, it is only through the construction practice. This is from the gate to practical completion when the materials arrive on site, as identified through the life cycle assessment and calculated under the European standard EN 158 and the international standard ISO 21930. So SDGs in the construction sector incorporating international and local assessment of standardised documents, international organisations standardised documents, and Green Star and Homestay certifications. In Europe, I think it's LEED or BREEAM. In America, it's LEED and Green Building Council. So there are the SDGs, the targets and indicators that can and are being identified, implemented effectively across the construction and waste management sectors. Conclusions. Architecture and good design can ensure each project meet or exceed the client's brief and enhance the well-being of the end user. Each house was designed to fit within its environment and ability to meet changes in the life of the end users. Cities create opportunities for change, large-scale development, more buying power and opportunities for using basic design principles successfully. Responsibility to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 11 Sustainable in Communities. Responsibilities to connect finite resources and what is developed, exported from one country doesn't impact on another. So design, construction, public-private sector, collaborating partnership create opportunities to connect with the SDGs. It's through ethical sourcing, business opportunities, the products and services that can be utilised, use of profits for a surface. For example, Habitat for Humanity, community support programs, direct programs and interventions, e.g. educational programs, scholarships, capability building, value chain operations, e.g. focus on work integration for marginalised people, partnerships. Without partnerships, we will not achieve the SDGs. Using the skills and business experience with the knowledge of the importance of the SDGs will develop the interconnections across the design and construction sector. Having companies incorporate the SDGs will add more quantifiable and quantitative reporting that can be submitted through to the UN. And in Australia and New Zealand, for example, and the Asia Pacific region is working towards the 2030 agenda. To date, there are gaps in reporting and no framework to bridge the space where business, clients, architects, designers and contractors make a difference through implementing SDGs through the operation. Creating connections for successful SDG implementation. Incorporating the SDGs in design and construction phase requires engagement with all stakeholders, developing company-specific dashboards, implementing current SDG targets, indicators, interlinking and creating new specific indicators, provide mechanisms for measurable outcomes, ensure reporting on the links with the specific SDGs align with their social, environmental and financial reporting, therefore providing legitimacy to the SDG reporting. Collaboration and engagement to raise awareness, networks, business partnerships, seminars, Sustainable Development Goals introductions, look at abilities for companies to report against existing indicators and company-specific indicators, strengthen connections with women affiliations. So thank you. And to finish, global sustainability is now the only avenue to future inclusive progress that can deliver the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement. Down Roxworth. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for Carolyn Savage. She brought us with so much information, such as the spillover effect made by New Zealand. It's over 69%, and Japan, it's even more outstanding. It's over 77%. And we noticed that all the members in Asia Pacific, we are neighbor countries. So we need to work together, collaborate with each other to step into sustainable development goals together. Okay, and now I would like to introduce our second panelist. The second panelist, it's a very special figure. She's pretty and well-educated, and she's a founder of an e-commerce company. Her name is Tsai, and she's almost got her Ph.D. degree from Brown University. Sooner or later, you will be a doctor, okay? All right. And now let's welcome the founder of Wenzhou. Before her speech, I would like to shortly introduce the background of her speech. COVID-19 has dramatically accelerated the growth of e-commerce. As more people adapted to online shopping due to the social distancing restrictions and lockdowns. So Wenzhou is a food brand established in 2017. The founder of Wenzhou, Tsai now is here and would like to share her unique experiences and struggles with those who are interested in getting into this industry, or those who are also navigating their way in e-commerce. Let's give her a very, very big hand. Hattie?
Thank you. Is my microphone it's clear? Loud enough? Okay. Good morning. Today's topic is economic leadership for change, the challenge for women leaders. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you how excited I am to be here today. I remember years ago when I was contemplating starting my own business, I would attend events held for budding entrepreneurs. As I walked into the rooms, I would see primarily men. More than 95% of the attendees were male. As you can imagine, as a woman and a mother of 2 children, I felt pretty out of place. So today I'm very happy to have a chance to be here, to be part of an event that connects women of different ages and backgrounds, so that we can get together and share. We share our dreams, we share our resources, and hopefully we'll learn something new in the process, and we grow as individuals and also as a group of women leaders. So I was asked here to speak specifically about post-pandemic challenges for women entrepreneurs in e-commerce because I have an e-commerce business. I started my food brand, Winzhou, over 5 years ago, and like many businesses, I decided to start online. So today what I can do is I can share the struggles that I went through, the challenges that still face me, and hopefully they can shine some understanding in this very fast-paced industry. Let's think back to life before COVID-19, and then to life when the pandemic struck us. It seems surreal now, doesn't it? But this all happened just 3 years ago. So if you think back, what was going in your life then? What was going on in your workplace? For my business, we were 2 years into launching our star product. It's a health product called Red Bean Essence. And it made its way into China, overseas, into China's postpartum care centers. For those of you who are not familiar, these centers are places where women can go after childbirth to rest and recover and also spend time nursing their newborns. So our growth rate was skyrocketing. But like most businesses, pandemic hit us very hard as all activities came to a stop. So what can a company do? Really nothing or not much at that point. And work from home became the new normal. So we're now all used to online meetings, right? But in Taiwan, we saw lineups at pharmacies just to buy face masks. And we experienced anxiety because we couldn't get properly vaccinated. This is in contrast to abroad, where we saw people getting really angry and furious over mandatory vaccinations. In short, there was a lot of chaos and there was much unrest everywhere. So now that life has returned to normal, where do we go from here? How do we recover and how do we do better work? So today I'll talk mostly about challenges that face us. There are many tools we can use now. And in the spirit of embracing new technological advancements, let's ask the popular, if not controversial, AI, ChatGPT, and see what we get. First, supply chain disruptions. We saw disruptions in supply chains, and this exposed a vulnerability that did not seem possible before the pandemic. Now companies are used to dealing with supply shortages, increased cost, and delays. 2, cybersecurity threats. They're a real concern. Companies are now more susceptible to data breaches, cyber attacks, viruses, and fraud because we rely more on digital platforms now. So with an enormous amount to be processed and stored, like customer data, inventory management data, and search and purchase histories, companies have to be willing to invest in robust cybersecurity measures to protect themselves and to protect their customers. Another challenge is regulatory compliance. With change going on, rules have to change accordingly. And these are laws that govern data protection, consumer protection, and taxation. So far, the challenges we talked about are real problems that have to be addressed, but they're just things you have to be aware of, regulations you have to comply with. We should really focus our energies on the last two: increased competition and changing consumer habits. Because they are key to determining whether your company will survive and thrive. For increased competition, COVID-19 accelerated the growth of e-commerce as more and more people adapted to online shopping due to store closures and social distancing. And this has also affected consumer behavior. I think consumers expect a lot more now. We're all familiar with it. We want efficiency, we want convenience. So we're very used to tracking our orders, receiving real-time updates, and having the choice of picking up your product in store or delivered to your home. So in Taiwan, we saw growth in e-commerce in 2020 and even higher in 2021 when the pandemic was at its peak. This is also reflected globally, where you see online retail sales reaching its peak in 2021. And then as life returned to normal and stores reopened, growth rates slowed in 2022. And analysts predict that in the next few years, there will be continued sales growth with a slight decline in 25 and 26. But it is worth pointing out that though even it's projected to decline a little bit, e-commerce share of retail sales is expected to increase. So e-commerce will still play a big part in our lives. Increased competition also means that there are a lot of competitors. There are new competitors entering the market, and there are also traditional brick and mortar stores that are now moving online to gain more online presence. So with all that's going on, all the challenges, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to have many questions about what to do next. It's always important to focus on what doesn't change and what stays constant. And it's always about the people and your product. What the people want, what the customers want, need, or don't realize it yet. And the products or service that you provide, you have to find your unique selling point. These are things that are most important. So what to do? I think first is what not to do. We don't all rush to make the same product as everyone else. And we don't lower the quality of our products or engage in price wars. You have to take the time to find your star product. And in finding that, you have to do proper market research and use targeted marketing strategies. That means you know who your target audience is, and then you see what appeals to them. So as an example, I will use my latest product, ready-to-heat curry packet. Our goals here are to expand our market and expand our customer base. So to do that, we decided to go into the supermarket chain in Taiwan that has the most locations throughout Taiwan. So we're going from online to offline, and you have to do proper market research. We looked at these supermarkets, and the number one selling product, curry product, is curry roux. These are curry cubes that you have to buy, and then in addition to this, you have to get a bunch of fresh ingredients, wash, prepare to cook the final curry dish. Now, while there are many ready-to-heat curry dishes that are available, the choices aren't that many, and the taste and quality cannot compare to something you make from scratch. So here, we saw a need that has yet to be fulfilled. So we decided to create a better curry product. But first, we have to see who the customers are. Who's shopping in these supermarkets? Moms, And what do mothers look for? They want safety, convenience, and taste. So with that in mind, we came up with our latest product. And in Taiwan, we adapted to local culture by giving the vegan option. Vegan in Taiwan is not always a health choice. Sometimes it's for religious reasons. People choose not to eat meat and also very common herbs like onion and garlic. So, yeah, completely vegan. And next, we have to use targeted marketing strategies. But before any advertising, I think marketing begins with a package design. So we went to the supermarket aisle, and this is what you see. You know, everyone's trying to stand out, going all colorful. But in doing so, they actually kind of blend in. So this time, we decided to be very bold, and we went with an all-white packaging, hoping to stand out more. That actually fulfills a white space principle of design. As I speak, these products are being distributed throughout the stores. So as an experiment, I hope that will work. So far, I talked about challenges because there are problems that we have to face, but also because there are opportunities. If you embrace them, you can strengthen your brand's position and expand your customer base. I like to think of it as an analogy is you're walking down a path, and you come upon a piece of rock. If you let the rock block your way, stop you from reaching your destination, it becomes a stumbling block. But if you treat it like a stepping stone, it will help you further along the way and maybe give you a different view that you never thought about. So for the last part, I'd like to talk about opportunities for women entrepreneurs. Today's talk, what do you see, is a common theme. Do you see it here? Entrepreneurs, e-commerce, they're all about change. And who better to deal with change? Women are best positioned to deal with change. And that has a lot to do with our attitude and our actions. We are resilient. Maybe that has to do with, facing a lot of systemic barriers and biases in your industries. But because of that, we've become more adept at handling adversity and also finding creative solutions to problems. As women entrepreneurs, we're also more open-minded about changing needs of customers and markets. And we're willing to try new tools to achieve a common goal. For example, the use of AI is very common now in e-commerce. They can be used as chatbots for customer assistance and also for personalization. When you're shopping online and you see recommendations for you and advertising that's catered to your interest. As for actions, the way we act helps us deal with change. Women value interconnectedness. We care about building community and building connections. As women entrepreneurs, we tend to be more relationship-oriented and more collaborative. And this helps us build support groups. That's very helpful during times of change. Social e-commerce is playing a bigger part now, and that's better for women who care about building connections with your customers. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, they're all used to reach out to your new customers, provide customer assistance, or promote products. An omni-channel strategy, it's a marketing strategy, and it's used a lot now. It can be thought of like integrating multiple channels to provide the customer with a seamless shopping experience. In other words, it focuses on the customer experience. And the last part I want to talk about is that women are good listeners. That's very important. We listen, and it has certainly paid off for me. So a few months after we launched the Red Bean Essence, our customers were very quick to respond. They told us that they wanted less packaging, they wanted monthly plans so they could drink on a daily basis. We listened and we're all happier because now this is our best-selling product. And also we're being more environmentally friendly with less packaging. So in closing, I like to emphasize that it is crucial to believe in what you do. Our brand's core value is simplicity is joy. Our mission is to help women take good care of themselves so they can pursue their dreams and enjoy their lives. Okay, there is a saying by the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu, 柔弱胜刚强. It means the weak beat the strong. By being weak or by being gentle, you're actually more resilient and you're stronger for it. I love this saying because gentleness is often overlooked in our society and is often undermined. We have to recognize that it's a true power, and like many traits that women possess, they will help us during uncertain times. We have to believe in ourselves and in all that we are. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Patty, you're so outstanding. You created a marvelous e-commerce company, even though we are facing lots of challenges. I'm sure that with our grit, our perseverance, and our determination, I think we can overcome all the barriers we encountered and create a new world in the near future, just like Patty suggested. Let's give her a very big hand again. And now I would like to introduce our last but not the least, the third panelist from Nepal, and her name is Avispa Prasai, and she's a young BPW member and director of Recycle for a Cause and at Maharashtra. Okay, let's welcome Prasai. And before her speech, I would like to briefly introduce her speech. She proposed that when we want to embrace the power of mountains as a symbol of grit, perseverance, and determination, Director Prasai decided to embody driving positive changes along with the breathtaking view. The mountain reminds all of us of the importance of sustainability. And mountaineer embark on a challenging journey to reach the summit and step into a journey of transformational leadership to achieve economic goals. Okay, what a wonderful view in the near future. Let's welcome Director Prasai to give us her marvelous speech. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, namaste, and a very good morning to everyone. First of all, it's my honor to be sharing stage with just such wonderful ladies right here. And I'd like to thank the organizers and BPW International for this opportunity. Thank you so much. So, in this era of unprecedented changes and advances in technology, and we are challenging the traditional business models day by day. And right now, we are in need of leaders who can inspire and encourage others to adapt, innovate, and thrive. And this is where transformational leaderships come in. Transformational leadership is all about creating a vision for future and inspiring others to work towards it. So, if I have to talk about the importance, I have listed out some of the importance, which I don't think I need to go into details because these are very simple points. To be short, why is it important? Why is transformational leadership important? It's because it provides the workers, the followers, space where they can take ownership of their own work. They are responsible for their own work, and that is why it is very effective. They can try, they can do new things, they are there to experiment, and even the failures are taken as an opportunity. So this is where transformational leadership comes in, and we have seen great examples of transformation leaders. So before going to elements, I'd like to share a story. So this is a story about a small project that we started. All right. So at that time, I was leading a project, Atmaraksha, which means self-defense in Nepali. All right. So we used to go to schools and teach students how to protect themselves from potential attack. And we used to create awareness, we used to bring professionals to the schools just to train them, right? And it was more of a, management work. We used to bring them, we used to manage, and that's what it's all about it. And one word that was very frequently heard those days, and even these days, is sustainability. Okay, so as a young BPW member, I was hearing sustainability everywhere I go, SDGs, sustainability, and everywhere, right? So I wanted to do something on that topic too. I wanted some challenge. So I thought I'd start a project. Why not start a project in sustainability and do something for charity? So I brainstormed, I stayed all night, and I made up a project. I thought I'd recycle something, sell it, and use all the profits to the charity. Right. It was quite a simple concept for me then. And that was it. Actually, I had no goals, no vision. It was just simple. I'll recycle, sell, charity, 100% charity. I had no idea of investment, nothing. Then I was so energetic, I rushed. I called up the young members from my chapter. I told them, let's do something. I have a plan. Let's do this project. And surprising enough, they didn't need to hear anything else. They were ready for it. And we were a group of 5 then when we started it. And soon after we told our president about it, we started collecting genes. But as I said, I had no proper plans. I had no proper vision. We had nothing to do. We collected pans. After only collecting, all gene pans, then we started, where should we recycle this? We have not found factories, we have not done anything, right? So again, we rushed. I think we have visited almost all the jeans factories in Kathmandu area. We rushed here, there, and everywhere without any plans. We finally found some. We were experimenting, we gave 2 jeans pants to one factory, 2 to another, just to experiment what will be best for us. So during that period, it was about a month, only about a month, mind you all, that I was seeing loss of interest in audit 4 members. We were 5. And I was energetic, I was running all day, but they seemed a little low. So I was feeling I don't know why, because we are working towards such a good motive. Why are they not, why are they not involved as I am? So that's when I realized we don't have an inspirational motivation. I sat with them, all 5 of us, we sat together, we communicated. What were we lacking? Okay, we're saying we'll donate everything to charity. What about the investment? We need some money to make bags, right? Who will invest it? No idea. Where are we going to sell it? Where is the market? No idea. And again, charity, yes, charity, it can be everything. We have BPW Nepal is doing a lot of charity works. We could donate it anywhere. But what field? Where should we donate it? No idea. So we all again sat together and we started finding motives. Only that's when we started researching and really researching about environment, about fast fashion industries, and the effects it was creating in the environment. We started making awareness videos. I have sent it to BPW International as well. We have awareness videos. We started awareing people about the effects of jeans pants and what it does to environment. And we found an inspirational motivation. So this is one of the most important elements while we are talking about, any organization as well as projects. Then came intellectual simulation. So as we communicated, I came across the 4 members. Some of them, they were interested in research, They would love to write. They were more interested in writing. But I was taking them everywhere where I go, I was taking them, pulling them to factories and all. That's not what they were interested in. I never knew that. Every individual is uniquely, they are interested in their own things. So, we divided work. More than divided work, we came together and we gave them a space where they could speak for themselves. I found out one of them was good in writing. She was more interested in literature part. So she started writing for us. She started making posts, awareness. She started handling social medias. Another one, she was more interested in designing. So she started designing bags for us and everything. And third one, she was more interested in marketing. So all 4 of us, we were working together. And there was still one person who was not interested. And she happened to be one of my very good friends. I went to her. I asked her, okay, everyone, we are working so hard to make this project work. Why are you not interested? Is there anything bothering you? And that's when I found out. She came to me and said, okay, we are doing all this, but what is there for me? What's in for me? Yes. So, individual consideration. All 5 of us, we had our different motives. Okay, some of us maybe want platforms, some of us want to, stronger our CV. Some of us want some economic benefits. We are volunteering and all, but to what extent can we volunteer? There must be something for us. So what's in it for us? And that was the question that raised a lot of challenges for us, and it was a learning and turning point for this whole project as well. Now, that's another part of the story, but today I'm really happy and very fortunate to announce that we have established a company called Lunabi, which sells the recycled bags, and we are a full-fledged company right now. And we are also extending it to promote local products, and we are empowering 32 women in the factory. We're successful in that point. But what I want to say is, we need to idolize influence as well. You want your work, in any organization, you'd want your workers to work the way you work, right? Just look at the examples, Dr. Catherine, Ms. Toy, Dr. Narudi, they have been working all day. And that inspires us to work more. So we need some inspiration to look upon so that we can work. So that's where idolized influence comes in. So these are the major 4 elements that I found while doing projects, while leading projects. Coming to economy. Now, we all know COVID-19, we've talked about this a lot. So COVID-19 has significant impact on global economy, including industrial economy. But what it has done is also accelerated development of digital technology. So this is a research done for by Harvey Nash Group and all the digital leaders. This is a survey done from all the digital leaders. So in 2021, 50% of them expected a major or radical change to products or service. 47 plan to unlock new values to digital technology. 43 were tasked with supporting innovations, and 48 had expectations to transform and digitize their enterprises. So digital transformation and technology is hyped up now, and it is important. So right now, what's coming? Wave 3.0. So we have seen the era of Wave 1.0, Wave 2.0, right? Now it's time for 3.0, and 3.0 is all about decentralization. Decentralization of power. Yes, I think all of you have heard about blockchains, right? Blockchains, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, what is cryptocurrency? It's something that's decentralized. It is not governed by any government or central bank. It is decentralized to your system, individually. So this is where our future is, and even present. So this is the forthcoming Web 3.0 we're talking about, and blockchain is a technology that is, regarding, that is supporting and developing cryptocurrencies. So this is what is coming next. How should enterprise turn them into source of revenue? As we can see, the growth of technology, how should all enterprises, turn them into source of revenue? And I think we had a great discussion about this already yesterday. That's embracing the technology. Most of us, we are afraid to change. Most of us, we're afraid to learn. We always think we're lacking behind, but it's not that. It's never too late to learn, and we need to learn how to embrace the technology and how to use it in our advantage. Okay, so let me talk about some of the challenges and strategies, right? So most of us are resistant to change. We don't want to change. Maintaining momentum. There is a flow of every business, and we want to, go in the same way, same flow. We are afraid to take a change. It might have drastic profit or loss. We are really afraid to change that. Balancing short-term and long-term goals. This is where we are really challenged. Developing and retaining talents. So how can we develop and retain talents? Are we working with all individuals, same individual all day long? Or are we hiring someone new? How can we develop and retain talents? How are we managing resource? Communicating effectively. Are we communicating effectively or not? And overcoming setbacks. So some strategies to overcome those challenges are self-reflection. You need to self-reflect about where you are standing, where your organization is standing, where your project is standing. Where are you? This is the most important thing. Learning. As I said, it is never too late to learn. We need to know how to use technology. We should get moving with the advances in technology. Practice active learning. When we actively learn, like we were very new to social medias, right? But we learned. We learned fast. So we can actively learn about anything. If we could learn about simple social medias, we could learn about upcoming future and digital transformations as well. Building relationship. The relationship you have with your coworkers. It is very important, and this is how you can, communicate well and work well. Encourage creativity. You will have to let your workers or your coworkers, do what they want to, but we can provide them support and need they need, and they can experience all they want. They can use their creativity. Maybe they'll fail. It's all right. It's a platform to learn. Providing feedbacks. Yes, providing feedbacks and taking feedbacks is very important while we are talking about any organization. Embrace vulnerability. We need to embrace whatever is coming. We don't have to be afraid of failing or anything like that. And finally, set a clear goal. We need to set a clear vision about the organization, about its purpose and aim. Now, I'd like to focus about some of the challenges that we as young leaders are facing. So, underestimation. This is one of the challenges we face. Oh, she's young. Oh, they're young. They're energetic, but what do they know, right? We hear that a lot. Lack of experience, and this is true. We don't have experience in market, and then it is quite a challenge for us to build connections, to know how it works. It takes time. Limited network, yes. Impatient, we are very impatient. We are energetic, we rush too fast. Resistant to change, of course, avoidant. And fear of failure, we are always afraid to, try new things because we are afraid of failure. What will people think? We care about it too much. And how to overcome is finding mentors. We can find mentors who can provide you suggestion. Now, there's one more thing, when you are standing as a young people, there are a lot of suggestions coming. You will have to know which you need to take in and which you should not. You can hear all of them, and you just need to take what you need. You don't have to oh, she said this, I'll do this. Again, someone else says this, okay, I'll go with this. No. Building networks. I'm right here, standing here, building networks. This is what we do. Embracing failure. We are not afraid we are not afraid of failures. Communicating effectively. So communication among the organization and outside of the organization is very important, and this is what we should do. This is one of the strategies. And finally, be patient, because success does not come, overnight. It takes time. And what is the future? The future of transformational leadership. Diversity and inclusion. All of us, we are different. And all an organization to be successful, we need to have various diverse people from different backgrounds, and we need to accept that. So diversity and inclusion is our future. Agility and adaptability. On this unprecedented changes, rapidly changing world, we need to learn how to change and adapt accordingly. Digital transformation, of course. We need to know how to transform our enterprises organization digitally, as our future is all about digital. Sustainability and social responsibility. We need to know how to sustain ourselves, and along with that, we need to know about the social responsibility that comes along. And finally, well-being of employees. We need to take care of all the employees being, taken care of. And also lifelong learning. We need to learn. The environment changes. We need to learn again. So changes happens. We learn. We adapt. We again learn. This is how it works. Now, finally, what I would like to conclude is, there are many challenges and strategies we can overcome. And there is always opportunity for those who is willing to take it. So my young leaders, the question for you is, are you willing to seize the opportunity? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for a very young entrepreneur. Most of the time, people would like to consider something like, oh, she's so young, she doesn't have any experience. How can she be an entrepreneur? With her knowledge background, or something comes from her family, or something else. So, for the rest of the 30 minutes, I would like to invite the audience to raise any question related to those three beautiful and outstanding entrepreneurs in different fields. Okay? And first of all, I would like to invite one of my best friends, Li Chia-Ya, Professor Li Chia-Ya. She invited me to participate in this conference, and I would like to invite Chia-Ya to raise your first question as a pioneer and then invite the others. Would you like to do so? Yeah, let's welcome her first question.
Carolyn and Tsai, Avispa, thank you for the wonderful speech of today. And Avispa, this is the work you did, right? You want to show to everybody? Yes.
This is only one kind of bag. We have school bags, duffel bags, travel bags. We have school bags, makeup bags, all kinds of bags, to be honest.
Okay, can you introduce the design and the material you used and anything special?
Yes, that is the question I want to ask and then want her to explain. Thank you.
Okay, so you can see this bag. It's made out of jeans, used jeans band. You can see the pocket here. You've used pocket as the, as a pocket of a bag. And everything is recycled, even the button. So you can see this design does not go with pink and everything, right? But it's recycled. We have used everything, all the materials are recycled. And yeah, that's it. This is only recycled jeans. This is Project Recycle, and for now, Company Lunabi. Thank you.
And I would like to invite Patty. Would you like to make some comments to the recycle package? Yeah, it's so important to your product too, right?
Yes.
回收材质这种包装
It's
对
a very nice
你的企业有什么影响？
If the audience has any questions, I think we'd be happy to take them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the audience first.
You have to yell.
And okay. And first of all, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes,
and then,
my name is
yeah,
Zain
raise your
Asad.
question.
I come from Jordan in the Middle East. We received an invitation from the BPW International, and thank you for the invitation. It's my first time here in Taiwan, such a beautiful country. Patsy, I really loved your presentation, so inspiring, especially for young women who are willing to start their business. I'm one of the ladies who's currently doing my business. It's really so many tackles that we have to go through and so many things that we have to open, and it takes longer time than it is. However, it's always a problem that we have to solve so that we can reach to as much as consumers and customers. I just want to add one thing. It's not a question to panelists, however, I just want to add things regarding to the pandemic. I'm one of the people who really suffered with the pandemic, even though I got married in the pandemic, and we also all worked online. One thing that I would like to add is that there's a very important thing that we have to learn from the pandemic, is that it has allowed us to be more close to our family. And nowadays in Jordan, we are calling for the positive sides that the pandemic has allowed us, such as working flexible hours for mothers who have babies so that they can spend more time with their children. And this is one of the very important things that I'm working with my company. I'm a pharmacist who work as a project manager in the pharmaceutical company based in Jordan, is that we do call for flexible hours for females that allow them to thrive in their business, progress in their career, and as well be a mother to their children instead of working 8 and 9 to 10 hours away from the families. So this is a very good part that we can use from the pandemic, that it has allowed us to stay with our families. This is just one point I wanted to add for the pandemic side. And thank you, ladies, for the businesses, so inspiring. And thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you so much for your question. Of course, we are women, and we are very proud of being a mother too. We are playing so many roles. Okay, so Patty, would you like to say something that how can you take care of your children or child? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's a very important point. That when I was preparing the presentation, I was thinking of talking about that because women it's kind of unfair that, you know, caretaking responsibilities go to women. If you think about taking care of your children or elderly, like, I think especially for, well, at least in Taiwan, it's like that. A lot of Asian families.
Of course.
So it's great what you're doing in Jordan, and now that the pandemic has changed, it shows us that we can have flexible hours, and we can still be very efficient. So now that's something we should take advantage of. So that's a great point to add. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the same situation. When I was studying my Ph.D. degree, I have to take care of my boy. He's only 9 years old, but now he got his Ph.D. degree and working now. And at that moment, I also have to take care of my parent-in-laws, okay? Because my husband is the single son in his family. So I can imagine how hard it is as a woman to play so many roles, to take care of the business, to be a manager or an entrepreneur, and also to be a mother and a wife, and the other roles, okay, to take care of everything. This is our strength. Do you agree with this? Yeah. Okay. And because I'm sure that you're still single, right?
Right.
Right.
What I wanted to add is, where there are challenges, there is opportunity. We just need to see it. So, there is always, positive side of every negative angle as well. We just need to realize it. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, any further question? How about the question from a male? Okay, a gentleman. From your viewpoint, do you have any question? No? Okay. Another female leader. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
我是BPW 台湾总会的前会长尤美女。那我想要请教的是蔡一山董事长，就是您是中华母婴医护交流协会的理事长，就是您原来不是在商业的这一块嘛？对，你所学的应该是比较是医护护理。
生化，我念的是生化。
对，那从那个到自创品牌，事实上这条路是很长的，因为从一个领域跨到另外一个领域，而且说实在的，最难的其实就是通路。那你怎样从零到有，然后能够把这条通路打开？你能不能分享你的经验？我觉得这个对于初创者那个才是最关键的地方，就是他怎么样从一个零，因为当你已经有了，要再快是很容易的，
对。
但是你怎么样从零到有这一段距离，你怎么样走出来的？而且就是说，你又是跨了一个领域。谢谢。
Okay. May I ask how many of you cannot understand Mandarin? Raise your hand.
I can.
Yeah, I think you can use your earphones,
I can answer.
And probably it's very convenient for her to speak in Mandarin. It's
I can answer in English, but
okay,
for those of you who didn't understand, that's actually I'll answer in two parts. First question is I studied biochemistry, and now I'm in e-commerce business, and this seems very different. So the lady asked me of how I started from nothing basically, and then it's a very big step. So completely different industries. And second is the second part of the question. I remember there's a second part. Sorry. 第二个问题是有关，第一个是怎么开始的嘛？
你的通路是怎么发展？
你怎么样打开你的就是跨领域，而且就是开始打开你的通路，因为通路是最难的。
好，那我就先回答第一段好了。So I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and then I talked about this a lot because I experienced a lot of anxiety. I spent a lot of years studying biochemistry, so I thought, oh, maybe it's all gone to waste. And now I'm happy at home, but I also want to do something. And then I decided that I want to start my food brand because it has to be, you have to listen to your heart and what you really want. And I feel like that was more manageable. To start a small business is to start online and to start my own brand, so I have control over it. So once I decided to do that, I realized that the two different industries, biochemistry, scientific research, and business now, they seem very different, but they also have many similarities. And I think it's helped me. So if you're wondering about switching careers, like if you're not doing something you really love and you know it's wrong and you're afraid to step out of your comfort zone, you should still do that because whatever you're doing now, it's gonna apply to what you do at some point. And what I realized is that they have something in common. First, when I'm conducting scientific research, you have to have a clear goal. Like you have to ask a question that's worth asking when you're doing research. And when you're doing e-commerce, a food brand, the question is, what is the right product that I should push forward? And second, you have to find the right tools. When I was doing research in the lab, sometimes the professors wouldn't know the tools that I had to use to answer the questions. You have to be willing to learn new tools. And tools for e-commerce, like I just talked about, we have a lot of tools now to use, right? There's AI, there's and the platforms, and then something to become familiar with when we can all learn if we're willing to learn. And time management. I think doing research really helped me because some things cannot wait and some things cannot be rushed. And that's a rhythm that is important in life, especially when you're running a startup. I'm sure people who are in startup, they're very passionate. So they want to get everything done quickly, but sometimes it's just not like that. So we learn to manage our time. And the last part, I think that's common to both, and that's helped me a lot, is that sharing. When you're done, after you've done your research, you publish your data, right? You publish, and that's important because you share with the world why your research is important. And then now I can share my new product, and I get feedback. So that's the part that I find very rewarding. So I think, thank you.
Yeah, we don't know your background, your
Yes,
domain knowledge and your business.
So I'm an IT student and I'm working in an IT firm. So yes, so it's like IT and business again, but it goes well together, like Patty said.
IT, information technology, enables everything nowadays. So both of, the three outstanding speakers are from different fields, and they are, experts, and they put efforts into it and overcome so many challenges and solve problems. And with their grit, their perseverance, and also determination, they decided to have a new startup and to develop it and to overcome all the barriers. I think women are so brave, okay? And we broke all the stereotypes, okay, in the society. So we should be braver, and also we believe ourselves we will be more successful in the near future, okay? And may I ask or invite the last question to two of them here. Okay, yes, please.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm the founder and leader of women's rights and minorities groups within my school. So I found the speeches that Ms. Tsai and also Avispa gave very inspirational. And I just wanted to ask, because I was able to relate to a lot of the problems that were mentioned that you guys had to overcome while starting businesses, and I just wanted to ask, how would you suggest a leader or a young leader to deal with drops in productivity, or sometimes your team members are not very productive or not very cooperative, and how to foster a better team spirit so that the productivity and also encouragement on the project will all increase. Thank you.
Team spirit, the team cooperation, because nowadays we cannot work alone. So team building and facilitating all the members to work together harder. All right, Patty, would you like to share your experience?
When it comes to people, that's always the difficult part. That to inspire your team, first you have to have a common vision that people agree with, right? And then I think you mentioned in your talk that individual needs are also important. The individual needs align with your common vision. And it sounds all very vague. In practice, is that what I like to do is I like to do activities as a group with my colleagues. And we do, for example, creative brainstorming games. And the point is because we all have certain ways of thinking. Everyone comes from a different background. So my company is like mostly female, but even then, everyone's different. People's values are different. So by playing these creative brainstorming games, I want them to free up their mind. Because we all have biases, okay? So everyone does. And then also if they have to communicate and speak out, it's a good way to let them speak their mind through games. And then, because everyone has set roles. What I always remind people is that, can you please put yourself in someone else's shoes? Because it's not easy. So if you think, okay, I think that team member is being lazy or something, it's very easy to point finger. You might think that, but what we try to do is communicate more effectively. So we try to talk about for example, if I have a project A to deal with my colleague, then I'll first ask her if she's free now. You have to be very clear and concrete and address the thing and not make it personal. So we'll say, okay, she has time, and then you could communicate clearly what you need from her, when she can give it to you, because everyone has different tasks. So I know that it sounds easy, but really in practice, you have to be so clear when you're communicating, because you're thinking one thing, the other person's thinking some other thing. So you make sure you're on the same page. And then after saying that, you can write a message. Because in verbal agreement, it's not always clear. So after verbal, put it into writing. And then if something does go wrong, the person didn't deliver because she was busy with something else, she can say, okay, sorry, I couldn't because I did this. If you're clear, but if you're not clear, it becomes finger pointing, and that's just draining, and it's not productive. Did that help you at all? Sorry.
This from intangible side to tangible side to make things and to pick up the right thing to do and make the thing right. Okay, and how about pizza?
So Sarah, what I want to add is, Patty have said everything, right? But you need to be clear with your vision as well. What do you want to do with the team? What is your vision? You need to define it. You need to know how to convey it. You need to know how to communicate with them. You should know you all are on the same page and you're working towards the same goal. So I would like to add, communication is important. As she said, interactive communication through games and everything is true. If you have nothing to talk about, you could just talk about anything. But yeah, we need to have that relation. We need to build a relation with the members so that, the way you are involved, you would want them to involve in that same thing as well. That's it.
Okay, so to build up, the informal relationship is so important. And our last question goes to the beautiful lady here. What is the question? To whom? To both of them?
嗨，谢谢。我会用中文的方式来做发问。我是慧茹， 然后我现在就是在跑一个线上学院的事业，这线上学院专门是提供女性在处理她们身心压力的问题，我会称之为身心健康的事业。那我的问题，我是想要请教台上2位女性企业家，我会有一点像是承接今天所有以上的问题，不管就是团队管理跟时间管理，这也是我很好奇的，因为我喜欢跟女性合作，是来自于她们很有弹性，做事上很细腻。可是女生她们有很多自己，我觉得女生会有给自己 me time。如果是妈妈的话，她们还有照顾孩子的时间，其实很零碎。我不太知道，如果我身为一个老板，我应该怎么样更有效率的跟每个员工去，就是更短的时间跟每个员工去，像刚刚所谓的达到共识，或是我们更快的达到我们的目的，这个是我现在好奇的事情。对，我想听听2位的想法。
I think Patty, would you like to just explain it and then to provide the answers first?
The question was
The
essentially
question is,
how.
yes, they're very easy. Yeah, because women are playing so many roles, and as an entrepreneur, if you would like to communicate and cooperate with female workers, what are all the techniques you use and which are very effective, to solve the problems and to assign any project. And the female workers can get it and do it successfully, right? 这样子形容你的问题可以吗？
可以，谢谢你。
That's a great question. So what I want to say is, yes, I've been working with women. I have already said where I've been empowering like 32 women through my project. And how do I work with them is, we have this saying in Nepali, when we empower women, we don't only empower an individual, we empower the whole family, even economically, because she's a mother. And when a woman is empowered, her children, her whole family is empowered. So it is very, it is difficult to work with them because they'll have their own schedules and everything. Even when we are educating women through empowering, women education programs, we do it in the 5 in the morning because they have to return to their home at 7 o'clock. Because there's, children are going schools, so they need to prepare for breakfast and everything. So while working, it's difficult. I won't deny that, but it's better when we connect in emotional level as well. So when we are able to connect with the women in emotional level, we know where they stand, because they are very motivated. They know the importance of their work. They know what the work means to them, right? So if we can inspire them correctly, we'll have a great team together. So all we need is better communication, inspiration, and a motivation, like a motive for them to join us as a company or in a project. I hope it answered it. Thank you.
So the question I understood was how to work with women effectively, right? Because women, a lot of times, we're all in different stages. Some have young children, some are older, some don't have children or single. So I think for me, the way I do it is there's still a structure. You have to have a structure so people can work around it. But for example, work hours, right? And then I know for young mothers, when it's close to like 下班, when work is almost over at 6, that's when they really have to rush. Maybe pick up their kids or go home and make dinner. So I think being more considerate and respect that people are in different stages in their lives, knowing that, and then your colleagues know that, they will appreciate it. Like I don't go to these colleagues and talk to them, hey, let's have a meeting at 5:30 now, because I know their mind will be getting ready for 6. So it's about having structure, but being flexible and being considerate of each other. And for me, it's like after lunch, because I get very sleepy, food coma. Okay. But I think what I noticed for female employees in my company is that they really appreciate coming to work, especially mothers. It's like a break for them, you know, to talk to other adults, to do other stuff, and then not always being about, you know, small babies or young children's health. So, yeah, it's a happy place. Weekends are terrible. We love weekdays. I think I'm sidetracking there. Okay. So having structure, work schedule, having just 我觉得还是要有那个一定上下班时间，不能说因为你怎么样，那你有特殊的，那就是一定你还是可以体谅嘛，就是请假，然后就知道说什么时间的时候比较好讲话。
就是身为老板还是就是尤其还是跟女性在做连接的时候，这部分的需求我们还是要明确的先给他记着，这样身为老板而言。
对，你要明确告诉你对方你要什么，然后哪时候时间，你要的东西是什么，然后他哪时候可以交给你，然后他手上是不是在忙别的事情，这双方都达成共识，他再去做。那之后有问题的话，也知道哪里出问题。这样子你回答到你的问题吗？你是
就是这部分会比较明确啦。对，
好，
我了解了。
好，加油。
OK， 谢谢你，谢谢。
Okay, would you like to close that session?
Thank you, moderator and panelists, for giving us this inspiring panel. We will have panel 3 in this same place at 1 p.m. And now is the time. Okay, now let's welcome BPW Taiwan President, 台湾国际职业妇女协会理事长郭寿珍理事长为我们讲几句话。
谢谢台上的3位，还有远在那个纽西兰，就是 BPW 大洋洲次区的召集人，因为他讲的主题刚好跟我有相关，就在建筑方面，从设计端就要开始进去了。然后今天呢，在外面有一个4月22号世界地球日的活动，我们有个签署活动。那我们外面呢有一个东西，就是我相信你们我们国外的友人都已经有看到这个，然后培培请出来，这个是我们的17项，然后由我们大台中的慧姐 come here， 她帮我们变成了一个永续的符号。哎，周玉萍你在哪里？你不是要出来？来，这是周玉萍是我们的 Carolyn 是我们的那个副理事长。再一次麦克风给他好吗？谢谢。我们把我们的永续变成了一个就是第8届。
Hello, I would like to encourage everybody because today is Earth Day. Everybody knows. So in the front of the door, we have booths. We hope everybody to sign your name to support this event. And our president will donate this is key rings and especially designed by our members, Pei, right? Okay, and this is including SDG 17 goals inside, so it's very unique. You cannot buy it anywhere, only in Taiwan. So and only 50% can get it. So after this meeting, I think everybody can go to the booth to support this event. Thank you very much.
还没讲完。那个，我们台湾的姐妹们，外面联署签署的活动，4月22，今天是世界地球日，但是你们还有一个那个，我们本来 本来我们要做的那个环境教育跟我们的那个干部训练，我们有一个永续家园的那个桌游。
This is a board game for the sustainability.
会让你更快速的了解 SDG 17是什么东西 ，SDGs 是什么东西的。然后我们会去做干部训练会在这里。然后今天外面呢有五套，只有5套，现场只有5套，一套是1200块。然后我们会捐200元，我们会捐到世界总会，我们会捐给他们，回捐给他们。这只有5套哦，因为这中文的，只有台湾姐妹能够买，只有5套而已。OK。
Okay, let me add something. This ring the shape is 8. What makes 8? Because we are the 8 terms for BPW Taiwan. So that's why we designed this 8. And 8, you see, this is a limit 8. So means we are doing the unlimited. And for this board game, I would like to address more. Here we only have five copies for today, and the price for this is 1,200, and we will donate 200 for donate 到哪里？ to our IFBPW. So yeah, so if everybody would like to have that, you can buy that. Only 5 copies today.
好，那谢谢今天谢谢那个3位，还有我们的那个大洋洲的市区召集人，今天谢谢大家。那今天的活动真的很精彩，我觉得收益非常多，尤其是在建筑方面，因为我们知道就是说永续城市的第12项跟第11项，他刚才讲的永续生产的那一块，就是在地 local 的东西，我们怎么样不要让运输成为交通成为除了一个问题之外，还有就是我们后疫情时代的这部分。那外面就是我们的4月22号的联署签署，就是世界地球日的事情，那就拜托我们姐妹们，还有我们那个世界总会长。好，在这里谢谢大家，谢谢。
Thank you, Taiwan BPW President. And now it's the time for the luncheon. And the luncheons begin at 11:30 at the cafe lounge. The cafe lounge is at the right side, and it's on the lower level 1. And we will have the panel 3 at 1 p.m. afternoon at the same place. That's thanks again the moderator and the panelists today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Welcome to the lunch together, and we can have discussion later.
各位姐妹，11点30分是午餐时间，午餐的地点是在咖啡廊这边门口出去之后，那个走出去之后呢，往那个地下就是各位用早餐的地方哦。那边就是午餐是用 buffet 的方式进行。那如果今天晚上不住宿的姐妹们，也请利用这个时间进行退房。